Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and thank you all for joining in. My name is Linsa, and I'll be your host for the session. While people are still joining in, let me start with the agenda. Here are the things that we would be covering today. We will do some quick introductions, both of our panelists as well as of our sponsors. Then we'll move on to our main topic of aligning strategy to execution. We will also ensure that we have ample time for your questions. Some housekeeping. All the session, like the session is being recorded, and we will send you the recording post the webinar. Please feel free to write your questions in the Q&A box, and we will make sure that we address them by the end of the session. Let me start with the introductions of our panelists. Joining us today is Mano Cherian. He is the VP of Business Development at Nimble Work. He has been deeply involved not only in business development, but also in managing some of our largest projects and consulting engagements. Also, Mahesh, he is our co-founder and CMO. He has a wealth of experience in project management, product leadership, consulting, marketing, you name it, he has done it. He's also a certified Kanban coach and a trainer. So a quick overview of Nimble Work. We have been pioneers in web-based project and work management solutions for over a decade. We are based out of Cupertino, California, and we have offices in North America, Europe, India, and we serve over 1 million users worldwide. So this is our product portfolio, which is quite comprehensive. We cover the entire value stream of work management, whether it's starting from strategy with portfolio management or OKRs to execution with project delivery to managing projects and regular day-to-day work. We offer solutions for agile, hybrid, and traditional project management approaches. Finally, a look at some of our customers, which range from small teams to large organizations with tens and thousands of users. All right, so let's start with today's session. Over to you, Mahesh.
All right, thanks, Linda. Let me share my screen.
Yeah.
And hopefully you guys can tell me that you're seeing it. All right. Warm welcome to everyone who's already joined, and I still see some people joining. Good to see some familiar faces. The aligning strategy to execution is probably one of our topics close to our heart because we've seen some of the most successful examples of companies and organizations and teams running projects well or building products, building amazing products or just delivering value to customers, internal or external, because they have certain things in place. And today we are looking at just one aspect of it, which is the alignment of strategy to execution. So this is something that I actually have been talking about in conferences, for the last 4 or 5 years. And today we'll spend more time talking about how we enable that through our products. But what we realized based on the observations and discussions with our customers is that we realize that there are certain companies that are truly successful in doing what they do. And the thing that they do differently is that they lead with alignment. And whether this is top-down alignment, whether it is left-right alignment, there is a certain alignment of thought process, alignment of functions, alignment of their overall organization of best policies and best practices and policies and so forth. And so we sort of have talked about this in multiple forums, and this is the kind of alignment that we see in these companies that are successful, and I would say somehow better than other companies in doing their work. And primarily, our customers tend to be project-driven organizations, and so therefore, their success at delivering projects successfully is something that is driven because of their alignment. So we talk about it in the context of these three different things. One is top-down alignment, which is what you typically think about when you look at strategy being defined through either OKRs or a project portfolio management framework, where the portfolio defines the overall business strategy of the company, and then that leads to programs and key initiatives and projects, and all of those become the sort of vehicle for delivering on their overall strategy. And so, therefore, unless these are aligned top to bottom, there is obviously issues that organizations face in terms of not being able to meet their objectives. uh, and and how not just the top-down view of how objectives are being met, but how people are able to see their work in a more meaningful manner. That is part of the overall ability for them to really deliver projects successfully. The second is left-right or upstream-downstream alignment, and this is a topic of a lot of discussion, especially in agile organizations. But I think it has become far more prevalent, especially with the advent of DevOps and doing continuous delivery of value to customers, and the key ability to align themes to all the way down to user stories, and making sure that work is getting done to deliver on themes, deliver on ideas that customers value more. It has become a key aspect uh, of product development and other types of activities that companies do. And there, the upstream and downstream alignment is has become a critical thing. A third thing that we've observed is about what we call strategic delivery, and this is really driven through organizations that have, uh, I would say, higher levels of maturity in terms of delivering projects successfully, and how they think about getting organized for making sure that their projects are delivered well. And that is sort of a cycle of observing projects that are done well, so the project execution piece, which then leads to a sort of organizational learning and encapsulation of best practices and standards. And that then provides an input to project planning for newer projects. And so this is a slightly different way to think about it. It's not necessarily top down or left right, but it is about informing your own experience, rather informing your best practices and standards through the experience of running projects well or not well, and abstracting lessons from there, and then using those in future project planning. So that's really the sort of three types of things that we see here, and this is sort of encapsulated in some of these slides here. So ability for customers to really manage the strategic, tactical, and operational, and having them aligned to each other helps not only from a top-down view where leadership and customers can see that their objectives are being met through the key initiatives and projects being planned, but also for the teams to be able to look up and say, hey, what is the reason why a certain piece of work is being asked for, and that is what objectives of the organization is that aligned to. Um, on the other hand, the upstream downstream, what it does is, especially for upstream functions, it makes it easy for them to, I'm not going to say easy, but it helps visualize the work that upstream functions do, whether it is product management, whether it is portfolio management, whether it is some strategy function in the organization. But it makes it possible for them to collaborate on things that they do in order to ensure that delivery teams have everything that they need when they are starting to actually do their work in terms of building a product or completing a project, etc. And what it does is it helps organizations experiment with ideas, prioritize the right ideas, and make sure that only those that are actually going to be taken up for execution get taken up. Others are discarded, and therefore organizations don't waste organizational resources and effort. So this is just a sort of quick summary of some of the things that we have seen successful companies do. Today's session is really going to be more about our top-down alignment capability that we bring to our customers. And so I'm going to leave it there. But if there are questions or if there are other thoughts about this, I would love to hear from you, and we can talk about that during the Q&A. So with that, over to Mano. Manu, I'm going to stop sharing so you can go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mahesh. I'm just sharing my screen. You're able to see?
Yes.
Great. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all, wherever you have joined in for this webinar. Thank you for joining this session. And we truly hope what we are going to present will be valuable and we will be able to discuss further on this topic. So, going back to the slide which Mahesh shared, and thank you, Mahesh, for setting the context. We will be looking at alignment, strategic alignment, or strategic initiatives to project execution, the top-down approach. And as time permits, we will definitely show you some elements of the other two, strategies which Mahesh covered in his PPT. So to start off with, the Nimble Enterprise Platform is an end-to-end platform which enables you to set up processes, methodologies, and workflows that can be used for setting up your alignment, prioritizing your demands and your initiatives based on the priority of your strategic initiatives, and then track them to execution using different methodologies. And the good thing over here is all of this can be tracked in one single integrated platform. You don't have to switch the context to multiple systems or multiple trackers that are off or offline. You'll be able to track all of them in one single integrated ecosystem. For setting up your strategic goals or initiatives, we have a portfolio management module where you can set up your programs. And against these strategic programs across your organization, you will be able to capture demands. You will have a workflow that can be used for the purpose of review and approval of the demand. And if you go to a particular demand, you will be able to capture all the details that will help you to understand to which program the demand is aligned to, what is the cost of implementing that demand, and what are some of the likely benefits you would get if that demand is implemented, and how it will contribute to the strategic program or initiative you have within the organization. One of the key aspects that is promoted in the platform is collaboration. So even to capture details of a demand and then align it to your strategic initiative, we do support collaboration. You can collaborate with multiple stakeholders, get their views, and make sure that the planning aspect that is associated with that specific demand is accurate and it is transparent to all relevant stakeholders. So as you can see here, the demand is aligned to a program, and then you are likely to identify the business goals it is able to address. You're able to see the cost that is associated with it, and then the benefits it would basically bring to the organization. And you will also be able to see how various stakeholders have prioritized the demand across multiple rank the demand across multiple strategic parameters. Now, once the demand has been captured, as it happens in any strategic initiative, strategic portfolio, you will have budgets that are allocated. And at any point of time, you will be able to see the demands that are in the pipeline and the budget that is available. So what you're able to see here is for this current year in quarter three, quarter four, you do have demands in the pipeline, but you do not have the budget to fulfill all of those demands. Now, there are three ways to address this problem. One is deprioritize some of the existing projects that are running so that budgets can be released. That can be done in the platform. Second one is probably get more budget, which is a difficult thing to do. Third one is make sure that you're able to prioritize them accurately. Prioritize them based on the strategic initiatives and objectives of the organization, for which we provide an AI-based solution. I mean, there is a manual method in which you can do prioritization if that is what is needed, but we also provide, just to give a guidance to the team, we provide an AI-enabled solution where you can build your own custom scenarios, and these scenarios can be based on your your overall organizational goals and strategic objectives. Like you want to reduce cost, you want to increase the revenue. So you have multiple dimensions that can be selected over here. And then based on that, the AI engine will look at each of the demand. It will consider the benefits it is delivering, the initiatives it is aligned to, and then it will give you a recommendation saying that in the next 2 or 3 quarters, these are the 7 demands that you need to factor from an execution perspective. So it gives you a guidance where you will be able to identify those demand, which if you pick, you will be able to see what is a potential revenue growth that can come into the organization, or what is a potential cost reduction that can bring into within your IT or operational ecosystem. Now, once these demands has been identified, that is where you can then go allocate budgets and release them for the purpose of execution. Now, the projects, once it has been, the demand has been released for execution within the Nimble Enterprise platform, we provide the capability where you will be able to set up the project, you will be able to plan and execute the project. And as you're executing the project, you will also be able to get the actuals rolled up back to the portfolio level, where you will be able to see what was the budget that was allocated and what is the budget that has been consumed so far for this specific demand, and then take a call whether it needs to continue, whether it has delivered the benefit, and then and then take it from there. So this is a approach which has processes in place, and it basically involves a collaborative effort across multiple stakeholders, where all of them will come in, vote the right demand, and then get it released for execution. And as long as the demand is released as a project, and as it is being executed, and as you are able to track its progress, you will be able to see how it is contributing to some of the initiatives which you have defined at the organization level. But we also provide an ability within the system. I'm just switching my context to another login, where you will be able to make it more simplified, where at an organization level, you will be able to set up your objectives. You can define objectives at an org level. And if you have a hierarchical structure within the organization, then you can break it down across departments, as you can see here, and then you can also further break it down across teams, so within a particular department. And if you want to go a further step granular, you can also break it down to individual stakeholders within your organization. But what we do in this structure is for each objective, so there is an objective that has been defined which needs to be achieved. How do I achieve that objective? It is basically determined through easily measurable key results. So you can basically define the key results and say that what is the current value and what is the expected value. Like one of the key result could be for me to increase my CSAT score from the current score to 90%, or 95% satisfaction. So you can always track the current score and set a goal for what you want to achieve, and then on a weekly, bi-weekly, or on a monthly basis, you will be able to come and report progress. And we also provide an ability where the key results, if you want to define some executable actions, you can define actions within the platform. And then for those actions, you will be able to align it and map it to work items that can get executed within projects. So these could be epics or user stories that get executed within projects. So again, over here, what we are doing is you're able to define your objectives at an organization level, and then break it down to departments, or at whatever level you want to break it down to. But then you will be able to track the key results. You'll be able to input the actual progress at any point of time, and then you will also be able to see if there is any items that has been defined that needs to be executed for that specific key result, and you will be able to track the percentage progress of those executable items within the system. So both the approaches can be taken, either a PPM approach or a more simpler OKR approach. But what we are trying to show here is at an organization level, you will be able to define your objectives, you will be able to, define demands or key results against these objectives, and then track them and monitor their progress from an execution perspective. Now, once you have defined these objectives, now let us say that it has been approved and you want to release it for execution. So I will just log in as a project manager and show you how the execution part can be done within the Nimble platform. So for that, what I will do is I'll quickly log in as a project manager, and so you can see that so there are two ways in there are multiple ways in which projects can be executed and tracked within the Nimble platform because of its flexibility and the configurability which it provides. But what we have seen is very popular among our customers is the first approach is each of these strategic initiative demands, once it has been approved for the purpose of project execution, you will be able to set a task plan. So this is basically following the traditional waterfall approach. So you'll be able to set up a task plan where you can set up your phases, you can set up your milestones, and then within each of that, you can set up your tasks. You can assign resources. You can set up your dates and then track the percentage completion as the owner who has been assigned to that task is working on that specific task. And then there are multiple views that can be generated from the system. So if you want to have a graphical Gantt view and you want to take a look at the various dependencies that has been defined as you see here, you will be able to set them up within the Nimble platform and effectively track how that specific project is getting executed from a strategic is getting executed. You'll be able to track its percentage completion and then report it back to the portfolio to which that project is aligned to. The second way in which a project can be executed is using a more lean and an agile approach. So in the lean and the agile approach, we basically help you set up your backlogs, which is your user stories. You can set up your project team. You can set up a project, and then you can set up your team members who need to work in that project. And then you can, if you're following the Scrum or the Scrum Barn method, you can define your releases. You can define your sprints. Once your backlog has been set up for that specific project, which is nothing but the the lower level requirement that needs to be implemented to fulfill the objective of the project, then we do provide capabilities in the platform, again, from an execution perspective, where you will be able to size it correctly. And then you will also be able to prioritize the user stories uh, based on the releases and the sprints that you have defined in the project. So by prioritization, I mean you will get a good view on how your overall backlog is looking like, what is the percentage of work that has been completed, what is the amount of work that is still there in the backlog. You will be able to see the distribution of percentage completion across multiple parameters in your project. So these could be related to priority, it could be related to the modules that you're developing in the project. So you will be able to see that. And then you can pick and choose the stories that needs to be prioritized. You can detail them, and then using a very simple drag and drop method, you will be able to build the scope of a sprint and then get it released for execution. For the execution, we provide a very powerful visual paradigm where the teams will be able to see the cards that has been prioritized. You will be able to set up your own value stream process, value stream over here, the process that needs to be followed. And then you will be able to move your work items as work is getting progressed. But there are certain capabilities which we provide over here. We provide visual indicators that will basically help teams to make sure that they are able to pick the right work, prioritize the right work, and get it effectively completed. Like, say, for example, if any work is blocked, you can see an indicator over here. You will see that this particular work item is going to get delayed because it has a dependency with another user story which is getting delayed. And then if you expand it, you will be able to get a lot more details related pertaining to that specific work item. And obviously, you can also drill down and get into the form level details of that specific work item. So you will be able to see the detailed description and so on and so forth. Now, what I wanted to highlight over here is there are certain capabilities which we provide over here, which will help you to, like say, help you to look at the type of work that needs to be prioritized. Like say, for example, we have a capability where you can set up tags. And if I want to look at all the user stories that are mapped to some kind of a strategic initiative, you will see that there is one in my project, and that is what that needs to be focused on. So you will be very easily be able to filter based on multiple parameters, including that pertaining to strategic initiative, and you will be able to prioritize and focus on those specific work items. Uh, Once the project gets executed in the Nimble platform, there are multiple views which we provide, which will help the project, the program, and the portfolio manager to determine how the project is progressing. So if you want to look at your burn down charts, if you want to look at the distribution of work item in your backlog, so what work is pending, the aging of work items in the backlog, the distribution across multiple parameters. So all of these dashboards and reports can be generated, and they can be used for tracking the progression of work within your projects. Now, quickly, I just wanted to draw your attention to two more aspects in today's demo. The first one is if I were to take the second approach, which Mahesh just indicated in a slide. So what happens over here is once an initiative or an objective has been approved, either using the PPM approach or even using the OKR approach, or you can even use a lean portfolio lean approach, which we support in the platform. So what you're able to see here is you're able to see the strategic initiatives that has been identified that is going to get approved for execution. And you can see here, these are the initiatives that are currently in progress. And you will be able to see the percentage completion of each of these initiatives. Now, the percentage completion of these initiatives are basically being determined by the underlying program level epics that has been defined, which can be tracked and executed within the same workspace or a different workspace. And then further, when I break it down, it is being based on the backlog items. That is the functional user stories and the technical user stories. And you can see that they can get executed within the same workspace or the same team workspace or a different team workspace. So what we do over here is based on the teams will only get access to the backlog items. They will get the transparency within the Nimble Enterprise platform in terms of which epic it is aligned to or which program initiative it is aligned to. And as long as they are executing their work, the percentage completion gets computed. That gets rolled up to the team and epic, and you can see that there are multiple program epics over here. And the percentage completion of those will then get rolled up to the team level. And so what this gives an insight is either the portfolio manager or the program manager at any point of time, if they want to understand what is the progression of work for a particular initiative that has been approved for execution, you will very easily be able to determine it from here. And there are multiple additional details that can be captured. Who are the resources who have worked on it? What is the total effort that has gone on that, so that I can reuse that data for my future estimation purpose. All that is basically available within the Nimble Enterprise platform. The second point that I wanted to highlight over here is it is always a question that is being asked by the management. When is this initiative likely to complete? We wanted to complete it by 15th of November or 15th of September, but in reality, when is this likely to complete? So we do provide an ability within our platform. And again, we have to do the right mapping and the right alignment over here. So if you look at this, you will see that this particular initiative was supposed to be completed by the 25th of September. And today we are on the week of 31st October, I mean, towards the end of October. And as of date, it has only completed 59% of work. So the system has an ability where it will measure the velocity of work. And then it gives you an indication saying that if you're progressing at this pace, this theme, which is aligned to an initiative, is likely to be completed by 23rd September. So it just gives you a forecast which is fairly accurate because it is based on the speed at which work is being performed by your team. And then if you further want to investigate what is the cause of delay and what can be done to circumvent this delay, so you can then get down to your program level epics, you can then further get down to the user story level and then try to find out where work has started, work has not started. Like say, for example, this user story was supposed to start on 5th September. It has started on 23rd September. And you basically get to see those details, which will then help you to make sure that you will be able to bring this back on track. So again, what I try to highlight over here is a very visual and a simple approach where once an initiative has been approved, you can then take it to a board, break it down to its lower level of activities, and that hierarchy is configurable. It can be a 2-level, 3-level, 4-level hierarchy, and then track the progression against that. The last point that I wanted to highlight is what you see here. This is a team workspace or a project workspace. Now, this workspace has quite a few work items that are published over here. And then from an execution perspective, it has an execution board with some processes that has been set up over here. And then let me just give you some more examples from, suppose if you're following the traditional approach, then you have a work breakdown structure that has been set up. Or if, say, for example, if you want an approach where certain tasks and activities would require a workflow for its approval and for its execution, then there is a question of setting up the right workflows in place. So there are a lot of such configurable parameters which we provide in the solution. Now, these can be tweaked by the project teams to suit their need. That is one approach of doing it. The second approach is you can standardize it. So when I create a project within the Nimble platform, you will be able to create the project by referring to a template. So we do provide a series of templates out of the box. So you can use a Scrum template, a Scrum Barn template, a hybrid agile template, or if you're into operations, you can use some of the operation templates and workflow. So we do provide a series of templates. You can basically create projects from these templates. And we also provide the ability where these templates can completely be tweaked and set up based on your specific organization's need just through configuration. Now, what we mean by this is, so I'll give you an example of a large customer who last year purchased our tool and we rolled it out and they are basically using the system. Now, one of the key reason why they purchased the tool is they compete with a lot of service providers, and every service providers will have a methodology based on which they execute their projects. But this specific organization believed that the execution methodology which they follow is more strategic in nature because it is aligned to delivering results to customers, and it is also aligned to involving customers in the overall project execution and delivery ecosystem. So they have, and why they are saying that their project method is strategic in nature is because they, over a period of time, have collected the best practices. They have looked at the industry norms and they have set up their own methodologies. However, these methodologies were on paper, or these methodologies were just on some application where people can go and read, but there is no guarantee it is going to be followed by the project. So we, through our strategic process engine framework, which we have been able to digitize their methods and processes into our platform. And as a result, when they execute a project inherits a template. There are a lot of capabilities around it. And then what it makes sure is all organized projects that is being executed by the teams of that organization, and they have huge volume of projects, are adhering to certain strategic delivery methods which has been prescribed, and that is the value they have been able to deliver to the customer. So from a strategic delivery or a strategic project execution perspective, the capability which we offer in our platform is you will be able to digitize your methods. You can use the methods which we offer, which is again based on certain industry standards and our experience, but you will be able to digitize your best practices. You will be able to digitize your methods on the platform and make sure that when a project is taken up, it is getting executed in a strategic manner and thus delivering value to customers and ensuring that you're able to meet up your execution standards, goals, and objectives. So that we will be having follow-up webinars on these topics, but I'm sure that we are on top of the hour. And Mahesh, that is a quick overview on what I had to present on making sure that you can set up strategies in Nimble, get it reviewed, approved, and then track its execution effectively within the same integrated platform.
Great, thanks, Mano. That is an excellent and succinct presentation on all the capabilities that we provide. Linza, do we have any questions that we can take up?
Yes, Mahesh. So there are a few. The first question is, what is a demand, and is it the same as a project request?
The answer to that is yes. See, demand is an idea, is a request that comes from anyone within your organization, which can get aligned or mapped to a strategic objective. Once a demand has been approved, it can create a project, but Nimble also has an ability wherein it can create a project request. If it is creating a project request, it can go through an approval workflow, and then you can assign the project manager, and then the project is created. So I would say that demand and project request are similar, but in some cases they can, depending on the needs of an organization, it can be two separate entities.
Okay. Okay. The second question is, how many different prioritization dimensions can you define in the portfolio management feature? And can we set up our own custom criteria?
The answer to that is yes. If you had seen in the demo, I had put cost reduction and revenue maximization. Those are configurable parameters. You can set up as many parameters as you want against which you can prioritize or do the prioritization. So the answer to that is yes. You can set up multiple custom parameters.
Okay. The next question is, would the team members and people working in the team or the project have the visibility on what objective OKR is driving their specific task that they are involved in?
The answer to that is yes. You will get a full view. If you go to a user story, you will be able to trace it way back to its strategic initiative, and the team members will get visibility in terms of their working that particular user story. It is mapped to which objective, or it is aligned to which portfolio.
Okay. Okay. Um, the last question is, how is project progress data rolled up to the portfolio level? Is there a view that shows the progress of a portfolio based on project progress?
I didn't show that, but there are views available which will basically show you the health of projects, the progress of projects, and you will be able to consolidate it and view it at a portfolio level. You will also be, I mean, there are multiple parameters supported in the system where you can view it at a portfolio level, you can view it at a business function level, you can view it at a center of excellence level, you can view it at a location level. So the answer to that is yes, it gets rolled up across these multiple dimensions, and you will be able to view that.
Okay, so that's all the questions that we have.
So I'd like to invite people to ask any other questions that you have, or share any experience that you have in uh, implementing strategy and project, alignment capabilities within your organization. It'd be awesome to hear about your experiences, some of the challenges that you've faced, either now during this Q&A session, but also if you'd like to connect with us offline. Would love to learn from your experience and share our own uh, experience in the same. I'm just going to share here a couple of uh, you know great customer success stories that our customers shared with us, and how they were helped by sudden events in their companies, or in general their organizational alignment and organizational functions, the way that they were organized. So here is the first one, which is shared by the at that time the director of planning and strategy in a company called Louisa Labs. The Louisa Labs is part of Magazine Luiza, which is one of the largest retailers in Brazil. And they were customer of ours for a long time, using our products for not only strategy implementation, but also all of their lean and agile capabilities that they use for building their technology products. And they, during the COVID crisis, they suddenly, that's the crisis that is being referred to here, they had to dramatically shift gears and move from being a very largely brick and mortar organization to being an e-commerce and a virtual organization. And so they were already very good at uh, defining, using OKRs to define their strategy, and then inform their projects and initiatives and all of the strategic programs that they did from the OKR. So they were using our products for defining and managing OKRs, and then running all of their key programs and projects using that. Because they had done so, and because they had to suddenly change direction in terms of moving from a physical world to a virtual world, they were able to successfully do that because they had set this up so well in the system that they had provided, including Nimble's products. Uh, and they gave us a lot of credit for the ability for their own ability to reorganize, because of the fact that they were using our products. One of the greatest success stories that we've seen. There's another example which is slightly different, which is about alignment between functions, right? And this is a feedback from one of our telecom customers in Europe. And they talked about the fact that because they did implement upstream planning, so a lot of agile teams focus more on the downstream, but they focus on upstream, and they implemented portfolio management using the upstream capabilities in Nimble. And as a result, they were able to get their product management and design teams involved much more in the overall delivery of work. And this is something that, again, a lot of teams probably already do that, but a lot of teams are not. And because of this, they were able to really align their overall flow of product capabilities, and as you can see here, improve their lead time and throughput far more than their expectations, because of the use of these principles and the use of our products for aligning the upstream and downstream. So just a couple of examples here, um, that help you hopefully understand how strategic alignment truly drives overall project success and product delivery capability, and ultimately value to the customers. Just wanted to leave you with these. So if there are no other questions, we will sort of end here. Again, I'd invite you to connect with us. Mano and I have worked on this over multiple webinars, and we plan to continue this series where we'll introduce the capabilities of the product and talk a little bit about how our customers are really leveraging our solutions because of the sort of overall maturity of project delivery, product delivery, and the combination of processes and technology to deliver their work effectively to their customers and value to their customers. So with that, we'd like to thank you for being part of this webinar today. And we'll be back in a couple of weeks with the next set of topics. And till then, have a great rest of the week. And Mano, thank you again for a great demo.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Thanks a lot
thank
for
you
that.
all.